52 parties on the national ballot in the 2024 elections. We offer a platform to the smaller parties that you may not have heard of to offer their pitch to you when you make your decision come voting day. We feature the Citizens, not citizens, Citizens. And Jan Moganwa is the leader, the national leader of the Citizens. Run us through your name. It's a play on citizens, and I guess the ZA means South Africa, South Africa. Is that correct, Jan?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the time. So the ZA is a very important part of that, but also the important part about the name was how do we actually get the citizens to play a role? Because we have come across a lot of citizens who said they are not interested in politics, and we are saying politics is very much interested in you. So we have left this to politicians. Less of us show up to vote, less of us participate in civic activism, and that's a recipe for disaster.
One of your policy points is we have too many political parties and too many bad political options. Don't you just add to the growing number of political parties that contest in this 2024 elections? There'll be 52 parties on the ballot. How do you differentiate yourself from the other 51?
So, in reality, what has been happening, if you think about Parliament, so, people have quoted these numbers, 300 and something parties, 52 on the ballot, and, but, they tend to forget that in Parliament there's only 14 parties, right? And even in those 14 parties, I think more than 80% of the votes is actually about the three parties, ANC, the DA, the EFF. So, we can count the number of registered parties all we like, or the ones that are on the ballot all we like, but in reality, this is the scene and the show of the three parties. That's the reality. Now, I think we have to be open to as many people as possible participating. Natural selection will happen. I don't know why people want to rush consolidation. At some point, you can't keep on funding this thing if it is not going anywhere. So that consolidation will happen. We shouldn't rush it.
Let's go through some of your proposals going into this election. First is the war on crime and looting. Your proposals include time in jail for people employing illegal immigrants and also reducing prisoner benefits. Run us through that proposal.
So the illegal immigrants, part of the problem is actually, I've always said this even about the people who are at the traffic lights, is there's an incentive why they are standing there. It's because someone is giving them money, right? So part of what has not been spoken about enough is many of the illegal immigrants are the drivers of trucks. They work on farms, and they work in restaurants, right? And a lot has been made that, no, these people work so hard and actually they don't require the minimum wage. And I mean, every time I've said to South Africans, do you have a problem with minimum wage? And I hear a lot of people saying yes, but then I said to them, how much is the minimum wage? I don't know if you know. Do you know how much is the minimum wage?
25 Rand 13?
25 Rand, right?
Yeah.
So you are talking about an adult working the whole day for 200 Rand. Every time you add to the noise about complaining about the minimum wage, you are genuinely arguing against an adult working the whole day, 8 hours, for 200 Rand. I mean, if that's your problem, then you are probably looking for a slave. So we think the employers have to be taken to task for contributing to keeping illegal immigrants here.
Let's talk about your economic plan. What is the urgent measures that you say? And you say economically the state is limping and urgent measures are required. What are those urgent measures?
So this, a lot of parties have touched on, until we create space for the SMEs to thrive. And unfortunately, this is one of those things where it's the typical ANC thing, where the policies are there, the funds are there, And if I think about the number of entities that are set up to fund small businesses, the IDC, CIFA, and the Small Business Watch and all of that, but that money is just being looted, basically. And we need to make it easy for business. One of our proposals is that the burden of administration should be lifted off small businesses, which includes businesses that make a profit of less than anything up to 5 million should be exempted from tax, and they should focus on building the economy and employing people.
Jan, you propose scrapping the child care grant. There are 13 million recipients of the child care grant. There's something like 250,000 beneficiaries of the foster care grant. If you plan on scrapping the child care grant and the foster grant, that's what? Almost 13.25 million children that simply get flung into poverty. What is the idea to replace a child care grant to ensure that in the households that children live, there's at least something to feed them with, Jan?
So there's a stat that suggests that child grant is actually the basic source of income for about 70% of the families that receive it. But I want to separate the two, right? We have not said anything about scrapping the foster child care, because the foster child care is actually, for many people, those are children that have lost parents and are staying with someone. Of course, that person has not chosen to have the child, so therefore they should continue to receive the foster care grant. That's separate. The child grant and the 350 grant, one of our core values of Citizens is accountability. And what we are saying is we cannot be a state that lives on handoffs, right? People need dignity. People need to work for what they earn. So what we are saying is, and also don't create a policy that is bad for those without children. So if you think about two ladies, one with a child or two children, one without, the one with two children gets more than 1,000 rand, and we know it goes towards their household expenses. What about the lady without a child?
Because so we know that in a society where poverty is rife, poverty leads to inequality. Inequality indirectly leads to a state where economic crime is rife. If we don't look after that 13 million children, what then happens to them? Are you expecting 13 million children to go work?
No, we are looking after them. So that's why you say, instead of doing that, take the budget, pay the parents if they are unemployed, because parents should look after their children, right? Pay them a 1,500 allowance for 60 hours of community work. Why? Parents need to earn it, and those that have got children then can use the money to apply it towards looking after their children, and those that don't have children can use the 1,500 towards their personal development.
Let me pick into that a little bit. We have many grandparents who receive a child support grant on behalf of their children. Many of these are pensioners. Should they go work 60 hours of community work?
No, absolutely not. And I'm glad you're asking these clarity questions. Pensioners are pensioners, and I'm saying any child that stays with anyone that's not their parent, right? That child must continue to receive the grant, because the old parent or the pensioner is getting old age pension money. So they are not able to continue to work, but those are excluded. So foster children excluded, pensioners excluded. But you are a South African of working age, and the state must, the state, can contribute to your living, but you have to contribute back to the state.
Jan Moganwa, really appreciate your time and best of luck for the 2024 elections, the national leader of the Citizens. One policy that stands out for me is what we've just been talking about, scrapping of various grants. Instead, the Citizens wants to replace that with a 1,500 rand public service allowance on condition you work 60 hours of community work.